What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of How to Get Better Faster, the series designed to make you win more games and help you out with your game if you're a beginner player or a player that just wants to get better at the game. The first episode of How to Get Better Faster, we covered how to fly, drop, and landing techniques I think you should be using, so be sure to check that out if you want some great information on how to land properly. Often I see players not landing properly, and if you don't land properly, honestly, your game might be scuffed from the very beginning, so be sure to check that video out. I'm starting to highlight a comment at the beginning of every video I make, so be sure to leave a comment below and you might be the lucky winner that gets their comment shown on the video. Today's comment is from Kukaracha Gaming. I've seen him comment on a number of my videos. I want to say thank you so much for the continued support, man. I really appreciate it. He says, it's very rare to have teammates who stay in normal games when they get downed. 9 out of 10 teammates leave as soon as they're knocked. LOL. And that is for sure. I have that experience, but you gotta stick it out and try to support your teammates when you're playing. Thank you so much for the comment, and I really appreciate the continued support. So in episode 2, we're going to rank all 13 legends that are currently in Apex Legends, and this is as of the end of Season 5. And we're going to be ranking these not necessarily based off the best legend, but rather so what legend is best for beginners or players that are less experienced. So this means what legend will give you the best abilities for the least amount of skill required to play those legends. These legends are going to be the best to help your team and yourself get more kills and get more wins. I'm going to try to get through this video as quick as possible with giving you guys the most brief but important information I can, and I hope you enjoy the video, so let's get started. Before we start our ranking, it should be known that of course this is my opinion and you should be using the legend that you want to use. However, if you do want a little bit of an edge, then feel free to check out this list as it could help you out. But of course, what is important the most is how you feel playing the legend that you want to play. And of course, this is going to be extremely abbreviated for each legend. We're just going to give highlights of them and a little brief analysis of them. If you want a more detailed video, let me know in the comments below. Starting at the bottom of our list with number 13, that's right, it's Octane. There really is not much to Octane. Abilities don't really help during a fight, and honestly, they are extremely underwhelming in its current state. There's many better choices that are easier to play and that are more useful. The stim ability will make Octane move faster at the cost of a little bit of health, and it was buffed in Season 5 but it still isn't too good. The ultimate is a launch pad and it's fun to use, but honestly in order to use it effectively you need to be extremely aggressive, and this isn't the best for beginners in my opinion. The launch pad was also buffed and you can now use a double jump, but there still isn't much utility to this in my opinion. Octane's passive is a health regen of 1 tick, which does not really add to much in the long run. I think it's pretty understood in the community that Octane is in need of a buff or a rework. You can skip Octane for now. Moving on to number 12 on the list, which is Crypto. Crypto has received some love and attention recently, but he's still very difficult to use and be effective with. On top of that, there's a lot to know about Crypto. His ability is his drone. In the drone you can fly around, ping, mark enemies, open doors, pick up your teammates, banners, ping signs, see how many teams are nearby, and more. Also, when you're in the drone, your ultimate, which is an EMP, will hurt everyone in a certain radius for 50 shields. As you can see, there's a lot to Crypto, but at the end of the day, all of this doesn't compete with what is my biggest gripe. That is the fact that you can't shoot people when using Crypto's main feature, the drone. And if you're a beginner or less experienced player, you need to be shooting and moving your character as much as possible. I will say that Crypto can be more of a support player, which if that is your playstyle, then power to you. Number 11 is Wattson. Wattson, in my opinion, is really fun to play, but unless you're in a competitive environment, she really isn't too good. Her ability is to put fences down, which can be great for territorial control, but in general, when you are in quick play, you are constantly moving from fight to fight as the game progresses. Wattson's ultimate is a generator which can block incoming projectiles and slowly heals shields over time for 90 seconds. Honestly, this is the best part of Wattson in a regular game of duos or trios. The ability to block Bangalore, Gibraltar's ultimates, or grenades can be really crucial in an end game scenario. Wattson's passive is the ability to hold 2 ultimate accelerants and really isn't too useful in regular games. If you're going to play ranked eventually and you know you might end up running Wattson, I would definitely give Wattson a try. She really isn't too hard to play mechanically, and she is really great for ranked. Starting the top 10 of my list, in my previous number 1 go-to character, who I can't believe is number 10, this is Pathfinder. Pathfinder really isn't too complex. His ability is a grapple that can be used to move you around the map, and his ultimate is a zipline that your team can travel on. His passive is the ability to ping beacons on the map to figure out where the next circle is going to be. Pathfinder is one of the best characters for movement, but since his grapple had a huge nerf in the recast timer, he is less useful than prior to Season 5. On top of that, using the grapple can be complex for beginners and has a high skill ceiling to use it effectively and to know when to use it effectively. That being said, I was a Pathfinder main for Seasons 3 and 4, and honestly, he is one of the funnest characters to play and go for clips on. It's so satisfying to grapple onto a team and wipe them in a sick play. Definitely give him a try, but overall his abilities aren't the greatest to help your teams or for beginners. We are now moving into the middle of my list, and these are legends that could slide either way a few spots depending on the individual playing them. Number 9 on the list is Mirage. Mirage is one of the hardest to play effectively, and this is why he is number 9 on the list. His massive buff in Season 5 makes him a force to be reckoned with, but it requires a lot of skill and finesse to play him effectively. I put him at 9 not because he is bad, but because he is hard to play. His ability is to spawn a clone. This clone will run wherever you direct him to, and you even have the ability to control this clone, making its movement identical to you and easy to fool enemies. His ultimate is to spawn a handful of clones that run around in every direction and give you a brief second of invisibility to help you get away from a fight or to help you engage with a fight. His passive is complete invisibility when reviving teammates or respawning teammates. While it's easy to use Mirage's abilities, it's extremely difficult to use him effectively if you're not using his abilities perfectly. It'll be easy to tell which is the decoy and which is the real person. Number 8 on our list is Bangalore. And she is one of the most underrated legends there is, but still she is number 8 on our list. Bangalore for the most part has been untouched since the launch of Apex Legends, but she is easy to use and can provide her teammates with utility. Her ability is to pop smoke, and you get 2 of these. And this will allow you to revive your teammates in cover, or to allow you to get away from fights, or to allow you to engage in fights. Her passive is double time, which allows you to move faster when you're getting shot at. Also great for engaging or getting away from fights. Her ultimate is Rolling Thunder, and this drops an airstrike in a certain area, which is also great for controlling area and engaging or disengaging in fights. But honestly, she is number 8 because really she doesn't provide too much usefulness for your team, and she can be a very solo kind of selfish player to play almost. I think Bangalore is going to get a little bit of a buff in the near future, but just keep in mind there's still 7 more legends to go through, and I think all of these provide a little bit more usefulness for yourself and for your team, and are easier to use. Next on the list at number 7 is Wraith in my current main. Wraith is number 7 because she can be one of the hardest characters to use, but still can provide a lot of usefulness for beginners. Her active ability is a phase shift, which will allow you to move around briefly without taking any damage. This can be great for getting away from teams or engaging in a fight, depending on the scenario. However, this did get a little bit of a nerf and a buff in this season, so it's not quite as good to get away from fights as it used to be, but it's still great for transporting across the map. Her passive is voices, and basically this is if someone's looking at you, it'll give you an audible cue that someone is looking at you, or if you're near a trap, she'll also say that there's a trap nearby. Her ultimate is a portal which can be used to move your teammates around the map, and this is great for pushing endgame, or if you need to get out of a sticky situation, or if you need to transport one of your downed teammates to a safe area for a revive. Wraith is a lot of fun, and if you think you're going to be really getting into Apex and grinding to get better, I would definitely give her a serious look at, as she is still one of the top 1, 2, or maybe 3 legends that there is to play. Just before the top 5 is Loba, the newest legend added just in this last season, Season 5. Loba's passive ability is an eye for quality, and basically this means you can see any purple or gold item on the ground through boxes, walls, or floors. This is great for looting early game and end game. If you see something, you can run straight to it. Her active is a teleport, which you throw and it'll drop down when you release the trigger or your mouse button, and this will teleport you to that location, making it great to get to hard to get to spots or get away from fights or engage in fights. However, the skill ceiling on this ability can be pretty difficult, and also if you're playing a skilled player, they're going to know where you're going because there is a line and an audible cue of the teleport. Her ultimate ability is a black market, and this basically means she drops it and you can loot 2 items in the entire radius around it. However, be careful because this black market is easy to be destroyed by enemies and only has 100 health. This also adds a very loud audible cue to the whole area that you're in, and it can be very easy for a skilled player or another player nearby to tell that you're in the black market. Loba is a lot of fun to play, so definitely give her a try. She isn't necessarily the top skilled ranked play character to use, but she's still a lot of fun to play in pubs. Here we are, the top 5. These are some of the easiest legends to use, but also have the most utility, not just for yourself, but also for your team. They're easy to pick up and great choices for anyone getting into Apex Legends in Season 5 and beyond. This top 5 could easily be interchangeable as they are all great choices. So with that, number 5 is my most infuriating, annoying, frustrating, difficult to play against character, Caustic. Caustic's passive ability is a Nox vision, and basically this means you can see through your gas, you can see enemies highlighted. And his active ability is a gas trap that you can deploy, and it'll spew gas everywhere, hurting enemies slowly over time. His ultimate is a gas grenade, and this throws a grenade of gas with a little bit larger radius than the gas traps. All gas abilities will blur enemies' vision and slow them down briefly, and can be extremely frustrating to play against. And also, Caustic as a whole is extremely easy to use because really all you have to do is place the traps and they can be effective. It does take a little bit of skill to know where you should be placing traps, and it can also be difficult to remember for beginners that they need to place traps more often than not. But Caustic is a great choice, and to be honest, he can be played in both pubs and ranked. Give him a try, 100% great character to play. Number 4 on the list is Revenant. Revenant honestly might be the top 1 or 2 character to play in pubs right now. He's extremely fun to use and extremely frustrating to play against. His passive ability is to climb and crawl faster, as well as climbing higher than all of the other legends. His active is a silence ability that will silence and shut down enemies from using any of their abilities for 20 seconds, and this is crazy good in fights because usually fights don't even last this long. This can be extremely detrimental to certain characters if they can't use any of their abilities if they're expecting to use them. And finally, his ultimate, which is what really people use Revenant for, is his Death Totem. The Death Totem basically puts down this totem, and when you hook up with it, you will only take health damage, but as soon as your health runs out, you'll respawn at that totem with half of your health still left and your full shields. This means if 3 people are using this Death Totem, they get basically a free 150 health to push and do whatever they want with. And this can be extremely frustrating to play against as it causes players to play with no regard for their safety. And because of they have this 150 bonus health, this is almost like playing a 4th person or playing 2 teams because the team can come back for a second time and readapt their gameplay to play against you. Revenant can be crazy good. You definitely need to give him a try out. If you've been playing pubs recently, you'll probably notice someone on your team has been using him. Definitely give him a try. I love playing as Revenant. He's a blast. Top 3, we're starting off with Lifeline. Lifeline, in my opinion, is the easiest character and provides the most utility to play out of these top 3 characters. Her passive is a revive drone. Basically, the drone can revive while you're still dealing additional damage or running away. And also her passive is the ability to loot a second compartment from all of the blue loot boxes that are on the map. Her active ability is the health drone. This health drone comes back, I believe, every 45 seconds or so and can heal teammates that are close to it. And her ultimate ability is a care package, which was recently buffed. This care package will drop in. I think it takes about 4 minutes for her to get this care package without ultimate accelerants. And this care package can have anything from purple shield to a couple of attachments to 6 different healing items. All in all, Lifeline provides a lot of utility for their team and can provide a lot of benefits without pretty much any skill needed. Lifeline's a great character to pick up. Her buff makes her one of the top 3 in my opinion for beginners, so be sure to try her out. and to this day, I still like to play her. Number 2 on the list is Bloodhound. Bloodhound's passive ability is a tracker. Basically, this means footsteps will show up on the ground for up to, I think it's 90 seconds now. Could be wrong in that. It used to be 60 seconds. His active ability is a scan, which comes back super quick and goes 4 times longer than it used to. Basically, this means you can scan enemies within a certain cone in front of you. And his ultimate, which is not quite as good in my opinion as the active ability, but it's called Beast of the Hunt. This basically puts you into this beast mode where you move a little bit quicker and all the enemies are highlighted in red when you're in this. One big negative to this is that it's loud when you're in this ability and enemies can easily hear where you're coming from. The reason why Bloodhound is number 2 for me is that scan ability. The fact that you can scan enemies and your teammates will be able to see them through walls, and you can do this so often, is super critical, and it makes them have a lot of utility when you're engaging in fights. Also, for a beginner who might not have as much game sense as an experienced player, the ability to see people through walls can be super helpful. Definitely give Bloodhound a try if you're just starting out with Apex Legends. So let's do this. Number 1 is Gibraltar. That's right, the big guy himself. His passive ability is a gun shield. This gun shield will absorb more damage that you can take when you're aimed down sights if the enemy is shooting at your chest area. And his active ability is a protection dome. Basically, this drops a dome down that will protect you from any projectiles coming into it. This could be Bangalore or Gibraltar's ultimate abilities, or grenades, or bullets. And also when you're in this, he has a quicker revive for teammates. And finally, his ultimate is a bombardment, which is a lot like Bangalore's Rolling Thunder. However, the bombardment, in my opinion, is a little bit better as it comes down faster and does more damage. And on top of this, Gibraltar is a larger character, we'll say, which means he takes 10% less damage than your standard characters. And this matched up with the gun shield, honestly, is why Gibraltar is number 1. Gibraltar's number 1, not necessarily for his abilities, but overall, he can take an extreme amount more damage to him before getting knocked compared to the other characters. If you're playing a Wraith who takes more damage and you're a Gibraltar, you can have almost 100 health bonus over that person if you're including your gun shield and that difference in damage taken versus damage negated for Gibraltar. And this is why Gibraltar is our number 1. He is great to use. He provides a pretty good amount of utility. He can use his dome to push. He can use his dome to help your teammates out. And overall, he doesn't take that much skill to use. Because he can take so much more damage, if you're a beginner, you're probably going to be getting shot more because maybe you're not the best at moving. So the fact that you're using him is great. So that's my top 13 legends in order for beginners. If you're still listening to this, thank you so much. I appreciate it. This obviously is all my opinion, and this will change as new updates come out. If you'd like to see me break down characters individually, let me know in the comments below, and thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day.